put on a wig in the alley so nobody know this. Like, don't you? Somebody's like, you know where to get a cut?
Came in fiending it. That's how you had people?
Yeah, bro.
No, I got imagine. When you ever go on those undercover runs and you're like, ooh, this should be a barber. Yo, fam. A man healed me up and said, yo, broski, what are you saying? I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, dog, it was deadly.
I did not recognize him at all. Like, what I'm telling you, I looked the man in the face and see the man like probably once or twice a week. I did. What was that?
Awkward. Yeah. Trust me.
If I don't get a cut every week, I don't feel like myself.
What do you feel like?
I feel like a grungy nigga.
Yeah, who are you then?
Huh?
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like a different man. Like, I feel like...
Look at his skin. He looks like
he's glowing, eh?
He doesn't call it lotion. He calls it cream.
You took him out the hood, said you happened. Bougie.
We need some. Lotion your ankle. What's going on over there?
I don't blame you.
This guy's palate is spoiled right now. Like, but it's true. Once you hit levels of food and you go somewhere, you just like even Jamaican food, just
open
know
you up,
like you just want to say to them, how do you serve this? But here's the
no, he's keeping it real. I was about to expand on that.
Yeah.
My girl looked at me and said, don't add this shit in, guy. I know my girl talks. You know what I'm saying? She goes, I see why you're so picky now. I said, why is that?
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Your mom?
See, but you see, that's my mom. You see, you're going with my mom. My dad is a chef.
Okay, yeah.
So everything is top notch from the breakfast to like, yo,
even how things are plated.
If I said, you want a snack? My mom never asked me if I want no snack. My mom go, hush. Like, go find something in the kitchen.
Get some chips or whatever.
My dad said, you want a snack? I said, surprise me. Yeah, like, I'm seeing like a cake with leaves and stuff on top. I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? But being in his house, you can get fat because he cooks, and when he cooks, he gives it his all.
Right. Also, too, a lot of chefs, like in restaurants, the food is rich. And when they cook with a lot of butter, you'll fat easily.
It'll catch you
butter
later.
makes everything.
Catch you later.
When you're home, you can moderate how much butter. Like when I'm making my eggs, like growing up, my mom used to put Mazola, like the heavy oil to fry the eggs. So I put a little amount of butter, a little now. But when you're in the restaurant, you know that it's like a big thing to taking out a whole quarter of that and dropping it in a fried pan.
It makes everything taste nice. Butter makes things taste nice.
You know what's crazy? Sorry, side topic. You do live at Andre DeGrasse.
Yeah, I get it all the time. I have a story for you if you want me to tell you that.
I was just there the other night. You had a little private thing at Lavelle. This is Friday night I went there. Right? I got invited. So I go to this. Yo, Terrell wasn't lying. This guy really does look like this guy.
No, yo.
He started running late too, He started like at 14 or something.
Who?
DeGrasse. He didn't start young.
Maybe. I don't know when he started. I'm not keeping track like that.
Do you
what?
DeGrasse doesn't have freckles though.
What?
You substitute for it?
He needs me, but not right now. Hip and all the things are gone,
bro.
But no, I told my kids to do Santa Claus picture, and
yeah, you tell me about that.
Yeah, the family behind me, and I heard the kids say, "Oh my God, it's Andre DeGrasse." So I'm like, "Oh, here we go again." Right? So we got like 2 steps closer. I got a tap on my shoulder. Hey man, do you mind taking the kids with my picture? Or taking a picture with my kids? I said, for what? And then the father goes, "Oh, you're Andre DeGrasse, right?" I said, "No, I'm not." The mother turns, "Stop being an asshole. Take a picture with the kids." I said, "Guys, I'm not Andre DeGrasse." They're like, "He's such an ass." You know what? You black man, I'm not gonna ruin your reputation. So yo, big man does. Scoop it. The picture with the kids. You know what I'm saying? They probably had that framed up in their house, but it wasn't Andre. Bro. You know what I'm saying? But Andre, respect, you know what I'm saying? If you ever need me to like do a commercial for you, I'm here, big man.
You're dope, bro. You're dope.
Off topic though, when I first got to, because when I moved to Mississauga and Chachan was playing Mississauga, and then a job opened up in Etobicoke. Zoran, remember Zoran? He had the A-team, whatever. And I met Don Morrison, and they knew I was starting to do comedy. So he goes, "Yeah, come out to the country club, like by Mill Road, and like that." Etobicoke is a different money than the rest. Etobicoke I knew was more like Lakeshore. Like, so when I got on the team, one of the biggest things I said to what's his name, blonde kid, what's the little guy, my assistant coach, his son.
Oh, Jonas.
Yeah, I said to Jonas, I said, listen, we want to compete like Mississauga and Scarborough. Like, I need the kids up in Rexdale
from outside. Yeah,
if you don't have the money, those are the cats that need.
They don't want them.
I want those guys. There's no the Somalians are up there. All those guys are just it's just the rich Etobicoke money kids that
on the south side.
Trying to play basketball.
How you repping Etobicoke if you're not giving me the best kids in Etobicoke?
Because they don't.
Saga got the best kids because.
But that South Etobicoke, you're looking like, oh, they want to be Toronto more so than anything, right? So it's like, I'm gonna go where the Toronto programs are. But you're right, because when it came to the other side of Etobicoke, you're getting Oakville and so on from down, right? But
when they he had a coach, Tony used to coach him. So Tony invited me to come out to play ball in Oakville with the boys. Yeah, come on, Monday night play ball. I get there, it's fucking Donovan Bailey, pinball clippers. So I would
athlete man.
So I met Bailey. So anyways, I had the ball like this. And Bailey went for the steal, so I crossed him. I go, you gotta be faster than that, nigga. And as I went the second dribble, pinball was over there, bam, stole the ball with all his big teeth. Hey. I'm like, what?
Yeah, this guy.
Pinball is way quicker than Donovan.
Yeah.
If you're 40, pinball will beat him. But go to 100 meters? No.
That's the same thing with me.
Well, that's why they call him pinball. He's small, and he has enough Argo rings, man.
Quickness, huh?
No, that's the same thing with me. For the first 40, 45,
got you.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
Any five.
Long range after that, yeah.
I'm slowing down, big. I'm not even slowing down. It's like you're speeding
you caught up. Yeah, you caught up.
I just watched. You know what I watched the other day again because when Michael Johnson won, when they said the paper or whatever, the magazine said fastest man in the world, but Bailey won the 100. 100 man is supposed to be the fastest man in the world, but America showed their guy. They said, yeah, let's do 150. When they took off, I watched it again. He pulled up on purpose. He knew Donovan was gonna whack.
Clean them up still. Yeah. I think I saw that video on YouTube, But all right, boys, what's up? We're back. We're back. Another installment. You know what I mean? Welcome back to another episode of He's a Guy podcast. Here we are, your hosts, Tashawn, myself, Steph. We got some special people with us here today. Terrell, you're back.
Look like I'm just tagging along, You guys need me, I'm here.
You love it here, bro. Stop that. Love it here, bro. Stop that.
You know, times have changed. You like to say special?
Yeah, we know. We have a very special guest. We have, TV personality, an amazing comedian, Tashawn's father, Cedric Newman. Welcome, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good. So special.
Today's episode, we're gonna kick it off. Actually, first I want to just check in on everybody's mental. How you guys doing for the week and stuff like that, Tashawn?
I'm feeling blessed today. I went to church this morning, so I'm feeling extra blessed, and I'm just happy to have my dad here. When I think he's a guy, my dad's the original guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to sit here today and be able to talk about some stories and get some wisdom from him, things he did right, things he wish he did, gems he could pass on to us. I'm just excited for today's episode. We're doing this. Yeah, and this is episode 2. Doing one episode, that's cool. Soft. That's easy. That's cool. But to keep doing it,
right?
I'm glad we're doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Consistency.
That's what I'm saying. That's the real challenge. So we're doing it, man, and I'm excited.
Just to quickly piggyback off that, I know you mentioned it earlier in the week to me that you kind of had this idea for the podcast. Terrell, you said Terrell kind of chimed in with that idea too, just to make it let you know how good of an idea you had and whatnot. So yeah, you seem excited. It's exciting, Terrell, how you feel this week, bro?
Like Tashawn, I feel blessed. Not much more than that. Just good health. Working on the wealth. But we almost there.
Gotta chase that paper though.
You have to, man. While you're young and you're active, you might as well move.
I hear that, bro. Cedric, talk to me. How you doing, man?
Good. It's Sunday. I work weekends. Yeah. Weekends is my work week. So Sunday's my a rest day. So just be here on a couch. Obviously, I'm gonna go watch some football after.
Are you a Packers fan?
No.
I don't think you know Packers.
I know love is nice. Love is nice.
Yeah.
They went far last year, but I like the colors and. But I don't want to go Green Bay. Cheeseheads. Nobody wants to be in Wisconsin.
Not at all, But yeah, just for myself, I feel like this week has been a lot in terms of just work and the heaviness, and today's no better. It's raining outside and whatnot, but you kind of gotta check within yourself and give your own self a pickup in a way.
Especially they put the clock back an hour, so it's getting dark at 4:35.
These days,
it actually helped.
Does it?
It helped me. I don't know if it helped everybody else. It helped me. But for some reason, I sleep better.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I do.
Because it's
Feel a
dark.
lot more tired, maybe.
Because it's dark.
That's what it could be, because it's dark. You know, you ever turn the lights off and close your eyes? You're not waking up.
I hear that.
But yeah, no, like I said, I think it worked for me, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
But here's the problem with that too. When I work in the garage, I'm leaving 7 in the morning to go. It's dark. Then I leave 5 o'clock. It's dark. So you don't want to be in too much darkness. That's why I could get. They say.
So enjoy the day. Stop thinking about it too
Seasonal
much.
trauma is a real thing too, right? And then we're moving to November. Christmas is coming, and Christmas can be really lonely to people.
Heavy, yep.
And then all this hustling, bustling, the malls, and we never do that.
Yeah.
You know what I used to get to Sean his Christmas gift? The day after, his mom would get mad at me. I'd see what everybody else got him, and we'd go shopping together.
You need a deal.
You enjoyed that. You enjoyed that, though.
Ever hear the quote, "A day late and a penny short"?
But you knew what to expect, though.
That's funny. That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
But everybody's always trying to impress somebody with a gift. Or I see people know you ask me, let's say, T, what do you want for Christmas? I want the shoes. So you know what you're getting. Why am I wrapping it?
Oh, see,
I think that.
It's no surprise. To me, the surprise element is what makes a gift wicked.
Right.
You already know what's in the box. It's not the same to me.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're excited to get it.
Yeah, why you gotta pretend you don't know what's in there?
Of course, that builds up the excitement. You got
what if I didn't get that? You know what I mean?
Do you tear it?
No, I'm a little more peaceful now.
I'm tearing that.
Tear open the wrapping.
I'm not good with my hands, so it's like
we established that already.
Yeah.
So hold on. Let me get this straight. So you're opening a gift like this,
Brother.
No, I'm asking. Who's opening a gift?
I'm not delicate, but you know what I'm saying. Like it's
you're
a little more peaceful than
you're an organized guy.
Than I was.
Methodical. You're methodical.
We're like that.
So when you tear a piece out, you just put straight in the garbage and.
Yeah, I have a garbage bag beside me on purpose.
Okay. I know. I read that.
I don't like garbage falling under it.
So you're getting a lot of gifts.
No. But you gotta be efficient. Yo, so that's the thing we used to do. As a family, we used to do real trees only, just to get that element of Christmas. So that was my job. My job was to make sure the water was filled, make sure all the trash was taken care of,
smelling the pine,
all that, all of that. So that was my thing as a child growing up when it came to Christmas time. But now, all we have to do is go to like Michael's or something, get like a 4-foot tree. It's not nothing big and it's artificial. So
my mom would leave that up. She wouldn't take it down. And
how long?
Sometimes all till June. My friends come pick me up for baseball. Like, Merry Christmas.
It's a lot putting a tree up, I heard.
It's a lot.
I haven't done it, but I
pine everywhere, like little pine leaves or whatever they are. Yeah, bro. Too much.
So hold on. That's a good question though. What's the earliest you can put it up and what's the latest you can take it down?
I guess there's no actual time, but for me, I say 2 weeks or so before the actual Christmas date, and then just to have that like Christmas season, eating it, like those I guess anywhere in December, like anywhere that falls in that Advent calendar type of thing. And then afterwards, probably just after that week after New Year's.
Okay. And they take people. You could go cut down your own tree, and they charge you more to cut down your own tree.
They do.
It's like cooking your own food at a restaurant and paying.
They give you.
No, we're not doing all that. I'm going to Canadian Tire, pick a tree, and we put it up. My tree, just so you know, it's up already.
Yeah.
Seriously?
It's up now?
I don't think it's a joke. You want me to take a picture and send it to you?
Brother, it's November.
I think how you treat your tree is indicative of your character, like type of person you are. The type of person you are depends on when your tree goes up and when it comes down. So if you're really organized and festive, goes up early, comes down early. If you're a little bit disorganized, goes up late,
it's coming down,
comes down late.
Yeah. So personal question about your family, real quick.
Of course, yeah.
So what? Just after Halloween is Christmas?
Pretty much.
The pumpkins under the tree, bro.
Got it.
I don't know what family you're talking about.
You and
my family immediate. Right now.
You and your immediate, yes.
That's up. That's all you need to know. It's up.
They have kids. It has to be up.
It's up.
Yeah, but like my dad had kids. My
yeah, but then versus now. That's what we're gonna get into today.
Right? It's old generation. But yeah, the tree's up. Next, you're gonna hear when's the present going under, huh?
Oh, you show presents early too? I couldn't do that. Like my family couldn't do that because I'd open the present.
No, you see, yeah, but that's the thing. Generation, because you would rip probably a piece of the bottle.
Let's see what I got.
See what you got. My mom was checking
to see if it was ripped. Yeah, same. I got beats first.
She started getting smart. She started hiding the presents in her room. My cousin.
Go look at that anyway. Yeah, I'll show you that.
Don't matter, but then because how she would rap late though. Right? That's what she started getting smart like that, because when she would put it early, yeah, we're ripping pieces, trying to see what's going on. And as we got older, you know, your gifts go down because your gifts will get more expensive.
Of course.
So like we would ask for bigger things. Now, obviously, you're not gonna wrap them and put them under the tree. So like, my mom started doing the Cedric, right? Because she was working a lot. She would just be like, she'd wrap the little stuff, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, here I got you this," and then she went upstairs and come down and bring it down.
Something
right?
surprising, though.
Yeah. So you can't rip it, you know, but you're happy for it.
For sure.
That's it.
So as Tashawn alluded to, we got a then versus now kind of pod for you guys, kind of episode for you guys. So I wanted to kind of get to the aspect of the TV personality, right? I know, Tashawn, that was something that you aspired to do from a few years back now, and you've been successful with it. And then also now, following shortly after, Cedric, you've done the same. So I kind of wanted to see how you guys all felt about that, and like what being like how you guys like being a TV personality in a way, you know?
It's a reality. You know, somebody said to me that you guys are reality stars, reality stars, but we didn't set out to do that, right? But the beauty about reality TV is you're not hiding behind a script. You're not like Denzel's playing this guy, and he's look, he played it so well. We're just being ourselves, and we're selling our personality. That's what's key, right? They're seeing, you know, on Amazing Race, they didn't get to see that, meaning we're always on the rush. But on Big Brother, people got to see Tashawn, watching them for 24 hours. On this show, they call me chaotic, chaotic on the Traders, but I'm just being me. They didn't know how to deal with me. Like, you guys will be on a couch and I'll just jump into between two strangers. Like, who's this guy? What's he doing? So it's like they just didn't know what to do with me. But that was always been me. So it was easy. I had to be, if I was a trader, if you don't know the show, they put 3 traders in a house and you try to guess them and you don't know anybody. So I had to be a trader. My personality would be totally different. I probably would have caught right away because I'd be too quiet.
And then Tashawn, how about yourself?
I feel like for me, like, I don't think it was ever my goal to be a TV personality. Actually, the idea more so came from my dad.
Wow.
He wanted to go on The Amazing Race because he's like, yo, we've been racing around our whole lives. And I was like, yo, actually, it's true. And like, I'm good with maps. He's just been good with directing, and he's good at weird things. Like, you know, like, he's played all type of sports, baseball. He's a mechanic. He's witty. He's a comedian. Like, he has a lot of weird skills. And then, like, I just have a real strategic way of approaching things. So we just thought we'd do good on the show. And what's funny about that is we didn't get on the show. I don't know if you want to tell that story. I don't know. You want to tell that? I don't want to tell that story. But we didn't end up getting on the show right away. And then we got on, and then it was COVID. And they obviously can't race around during COVID. And that's how I got into Big Brother, where it's like the producers reached out and said, hey, like, we loved you in your Amazing Race audition. Why don't you try this? And I was like, what's Big Brother? And then the rest is kind of history. I ended up winning, first Black winner, now just going on TV again, eventually doing the race. And it was just like, it was the career I didn't plan for. And now I'm just kind of learning how to live in that, because it's not something that I ever was like, I want to be on TV. I think my dad more so had those aspirations, but my aspiration was just be better, elevate yourself, just learn and grow. And I think this just coming to me was just something that opened my eyes to a whole new world. So for him and his personality, I know he said that he found it a little bit easier to get into. Did you find it the same? No, I don't think like being on camera is natural for me. Like a big reason we're even doing this podcast is to capture me my natural element. Right. Where it's like I'm not scripted. Whereas like when I have to be scripted and make content and be like, when people on Big Brother, I struggled when they do these confessionals and it would just be me and the camera. And he'd be like, so what's going on in the house? I'd be like, nothing. And they'd be like, no, like, talk to us like you're talking to a friend. I'm like, I'm not talking to a friend, I'm talking to a camera. Yeah. And I'm stressed in this room, but when I would go back out and like interact with the people, that's when they saw my personality. But when they get me back in that room, me and the camera, I was stiff in there. My voice was high.
What was it? Are you nervous?
Bro, it's just when I'm talking to a camera, I just see a camera. I feel like I'm talking to a device.
It's different when the camera's on sometimes, you know. Like if we're going somewhere, there's a hidden camera, you're gonna see our reality. You'll see our real selves. Right. If you see somebody holding the camera, you're trying to prop up, you're trying to like play to the camera.
Performative in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I think being in front of the camera, I think there's two different types of people, and there's some people who are in between. There's some people on camera, they're a vibe. Like it happens to me all the time with influencers. On camera, you see them online, you're like, yo, this person's a vibe. And you meet them in person, you're like,
Dud.
is this the same person? They're timid, they're shy, they're nervous, and there's some people who are the opposite. On camera, they're weird, like they're stiff and they're awkward, but then you meet them in person, and then they're a vibe.
Present totally different.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, go back to you, Cedric. How is being a comedian versus being a TV personality? They kind of mesh well? Are they different? Like...
And when I'm on stage and I'm doing my act, I try to like, I'm selling the same thing. I'm selling my personality,
right?
But I have to think about what I say more on the stage because it's timing, it's delivery, right? Back to the other point with like the other night I did a show in Barry. I get off stage and they don't know my name, like Deshaun's dad. Is
that what sometimes you get?
Yeah, I love that. I feel good, but then you look at the opposite. Like imagine Michael Jordan's son. Yo, that's Michael. They don't even know his name.
Right. I hear that.
But I love it because I don't talk about off the top Amazing Race. I don't talk. I'm still on Traders,
right?
But I don't talk about it. I don't want people to think I'm funny because I'm on TV,
right?
So as soon as I say it, they perk up, right? And because they see you on TV, he gets this all the time. They think they know you, right? So that's another thing. People just be recognizing you, and and it's weird because you're sitting there like, cause they're just starstruck, right?
Right.
And you're just trying to have a little conversation with them, but you feel like they think you're a friend, but they're not your friend yet. But I try to welcome people all the time.
Okay. So following up with that, actually, how is the profession of the comedian? Like, how is that, the pressures of it? How are things on? Because it's not easy, right?
No. When the light turns on, it's a different, if you haven't been out there, everybody says, I'm funny. And then you go up on that stage and the light
it's a different type of thing.
Yeah. When you feel that sweat coming down the middle of your back to your crack, your ass, that's when you know the lights get hot up there. Right. You don't know. Right. If you're good, 5 minutes go by in a minute. If you're struggling up there, 5 minutes will feel like, yeah. And that's the thing. It's I was always a natural on stage. Like high school, I did what do you call it?
Talent shows and things?
Fashion shows. I was an MC for stuff. So I already had that. It was just a matter of getting the timing and, you know what I mean? Just, you have to keep repeating it. And the better you get, you could just jump in. Like how I'm talking to you now, I could jump from this joke to this joke and then come back to this joke and not worry about where I am. I really don't keep a set list anymore.
I was about to ask you, so when you're telling your jokes, like, do you ever forget a joke?
Yeah, I've gone into a joke and then I'll be, because as we're telling a joke, you're thinking of your next joke. So I get into it and then I'm like, oh boy.
Do they all streamline? Like they set up?
Yeah, it's called segues in comedy. So I try to segue everything into like a next joke. But I've had it when I was starting out. If I forgot a joke, I'm like, you get nervous and then you start to fidget and then you just kind of mumble and you start to stutter. But when you get the level I'm at now, if I forget a joke, I'll just look at the audience and go, I forgot that joke. And I'll laugh. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he's tried it and he knew how hard it was,
Yeah.
Is it hard?
It's hard. So telling jokes within your friends is one thing. But getting on stage
trying to make a stranger laugh.
And trying to make strangers laugh and like trying to practice a delivery is a whole other thing. And then feeling comfortable up there, like I was tight. But I did two things. I tried it at a comedy club at Yuck Yucks.
They're already coming to laugh.
And that's a very different vibe. Like when you come to a comedy club, people are there to laugh. So it's like you tell a joke, whether it's good or even if it's bad, people will be like, oh, okay, they tried, that's funny. But making people laugh at a bar where they're just kind of there and you're on stage, it's almost like they're standing there like, yo, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like you're telling a joke, everyone's like, who's this guy with the mic? I'm just trying to drink.
Right.
So if you can make people laugh in a bar
where
they didn't plan to come and laugh, that's a whole other different level. But I have so much new respect for that profession because I speak, like I go out and speak, and that's one thing. But speaking and trying to make people laugh consistently over and over again, that's a whole other thing.
Okay.
And his second show was better because he just did it. So it was a little smoother, but the crowd was harder.
I couldn't imagine. I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody says, like, I'm sure if you're a funny person, and I feel like everybody has their spots in their lives where they're funny to a certain crowd that they're in. But to go, like you guys had mentioned, to go and actually do that and be funny when it's like something that you have to do versus somebody that's just, kind of naturally doing it is different. But how do you find it now versus back when you started? Like we're in a taboo, kind of sensitive type of lifestyle now. You know,
the certain terms people saying and all these labels and and you're scared to offend people. And it's like I try not to touch jokes that could offend, but what they call it now is punching down.
Punching down.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They say you're punching down on another race, but we're not. We're just having fun. And I say this on stage. You know when somebody's trying to be hurtful, and you know when they're just trying to be funny. And people are way too sensitive nowadays. And that's the problem. If you keep catering to kids and coddling them, you're making it worse. If you like I heard somebody say the other day, the kid's 14. He goes, oh, I'm not gonna let him take the bus downtown. It was bad at my age, 7 years old. I'd be going to watch the Expos on the other side of Montreal, taking the subway with my friends, 8 years old. We didn't care. We had our gang of friends. Now they don't even let kids out. And if your kid turns 18 and he can't even cook an egg, you didn't do a good job as a parent. He's 21 and he can't go on his own. You have to make these kids. I mean, even when I go by him, sometimes he made me breakfast today, but I'll fold his clothes. I'll do stuff because I was his parent. That's what I was used to doing.
When?
Hey, so he came to my house.
Hey, I didn't fold your clothes. I didn't take the clothes out of the dryer.
Now he's trying to convince you.
Hey, I didn't do that.
Wait, imagine this.
My bad.
I did fold your clothes the other day and put them out the dryer.
Listen, we don't have to do this here. I came home, no sheets on my bed. Can you imagine?
That time.
So wait, did he wash them or something? Like,
They're in the wash, but they weren't washed.
That's tough.
You know,
You couldn't find the soap.
imagine,
That's tough, bro. It's tough.
imagine coming home from a vacation, tired as shit. You come in your bedroom, you just see mattress covered. I was hurt.
Yeah, you just gotta lay down.
I was sick.
You just gotta lay down at the couch or something.
I slept on the bed just like that.
I run the
I
raw.
looked at it and said, fuck it.
Ain't nothing worse than a raw mattress.
Nothing worse, bro.
If it's not your
Nothing
mattress,
worse.
I won't
Oh
touch
my
it.
God.
I won't either. I'll sleep on the floor.
You know
Oh my god.
Honestly, like what we were saying, so I'm looking at it now. Like my son is in grade 2, and my school was across the street. My mom said, "Go walk to school."
Yeah.
My son's school was across the street. He will not walk by himself, and he won't like. It's messed up because it's like even when he plays like soccer and he's playing with his friends and he gets too far, like he looks back like, "Where's my dad?" You know what I mean? I remember those days when I was outside.
Yeah, don't bother.
Yeah,
I can't find that out. I can't find
you know what I'm saying? I look back, my mom's already home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Find your way home. So like I get that. Even like taking the like you said, somebody
Transits or anything.
Transit. I'm gonna give you guys a joke. So at my workplace,
Mhm.
the boss hires his son. So he says go around, for example, it's like go around, drive with that guy. So at the end of the day, the guy's like, okay, where do you live? I'll drop you home. You know what he said? I don't know. Call my dad.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, you heard what I just said. He's probably like 22. He said, I don't know. Call my dad. They called his dad to get the address.
Different life, bro.
That's my point.
It's a different life.
Smartphones, they call smartphones making these kids dumber. They don't even know 3 phone numbers off by heart.
But is it just a thing where we look at the next generation and we just kiss our teeth and be like, look at them? Because you probably did that to us.
So listen, I call it porch watching because I'm becoming one of those guys. Like, get off my lawn type of guys.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys where I feel like there's just a way that I was raised or a way that I've been accustomed to that it's just like, because like you said, even with going to games and different things like that, I'd have to, catch a ride with a next parent or a next family, and or a next player, whomever, or I could probably count on my hands the amount of times that either of my parents to come to my games, even from dating back to when I was a young rep player or whatever, soccer or basketball, right? Like, so, and they did their best in terms of being there when they could and whatnot, right? But work was work, and you know what I'm saying? But now it's like, I don't want to say it's like a mental breakdown or anything like that because you want to be delicate with people and their feelings, but it's just a different time that we're in, right? So I wanted to go to what you mentioned about lifestyle and growing up since we're here, but like whereabouts did you grow up and how was that type of lifestyle versus
first of all, growing up, we don't call it lifestyle. Survival. It's survival. And we didn't have parents now, you have 2 cars in a family. So if one car is being used, no, we had no car. You had to the thought of even playing rep ball wasn't even like
don't even ask.
Yeah. But if you were good enough, like I only had one parent. My mom was always busy. But I feel like if I had a 2-parent household, at least my dad could have took me to a game, or I'd always have to go with my friend's dad. You know what I mean? So all that plays into play because we didn't have it. We didn't even think about it. You know what I mean? So it's just survival. Every day was just like, okay, just go out. You just went outside.
Yeah.
And I knew everybody. I talked to everybody. We knew everybody in the neighborhood. Kids don't go outside anymore.
That's actually interesting that you point that out. Do you feel like that's what lacks because of it? Because of the type of survival or whatever, it kind of shaped you in being that person that was talkative and trying to get to know people just so you're aware of your environments versus now?
Yeah. Your personality, you can only learn personality when you talk to different people, different cats in the neighborhood. You know, I knew the Jewish cats, I knew this guy, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's how you grow as a person. You
Mhm.
gotta branch out there. If you just stay in the hood, you're gonna be hood the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So, and now
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
No.
You escaped, dog.
He got out the jungle. He's
That's
him and Tashawn are the same generation, but
Mhm.
they didn't come up spoiled at all,
Mhm.
right? Well, you think you weren't spoiled?
Sean wasn't spoiled. Sean was on a lot outside.
I was in jail, dog.
What we'll say now, I guess, in terms of just cleaning that up, is we were afforded different things and different. I mean, but actually, I see a lot of that in yourself, right?
He had chores.
Just even going back to what you're saying in terms of meeting and knowing people. I don't think I've ever seen Tashawn. He may feel it inside, but I've never seen him scared of actually going out and just having a conversation with somebody. You know what I mean? I've always, because I'm not like I said, I'm reserved. I'm the person to be like,
If I don't know you, it's not one of those.
right. For me, for you though, you have whether you know them or not, you have just no fear in going out and starting a conversation, which I find admirable. But yeah, for me, I don't know what that barrier is.
But like his mother, she was, they call it resting bitch face. She didn't have she wasn't super welcoming like me. I'm always like, so I'm ready to talk to anybody. And Tashawn has a bit of both. Like I find after Big Brother, his personality came out more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so as well.
Because he said, I remember him saying to me, everybody comes up to me like I'm somebody. I go, you are somebody. But before the TV, they thought he was an athlete, person. You know what I mean? They're just looking at this tall, strapping, and he's well, put together, right? You know what I'm saying? So they see that and they think, okay, this guy has to be doing something.
Well, that's a good thing, right? Because the other thing was, you don't want them saying, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
In disgust.
Right? Like, but you see how I said it? Like, I said it with disgust. Like, when they look at you now, they don't look at the show. Like, for example, Sean's wearing a gold chain. The gold chain's nice. Feet looks good, right? If it was down here to his belly button, big pendant, once again, look at this guy.
Yeah, like he's full of himself in a sense.
Yeah. And we were on Family Feud, and we came out looking all refined. And we played this team from Brampton. They just got off the TTC. They rinsed us.
See?
They rinsed us.
They were ready to go.
One man had a do-rag on.
He came prepared.
And when they won, the man did the windmill on the Family Feud logo. This episode is coming up March. It's going to go viral.
Yeah.
A man came out and did the windmill on the Family Feud. He moved Jerry out of the way and did the windmill. Like,
ready to go.
Remember, breakdancing was just in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So just for him to do that, I think we're gonna get so much good clips from that.
Yeah.
We came out bougie.
Yeah, you guys came out in a limousine?
It's like we had the hard dough bread butter, and they had like ackee and sausage on the other side.
Dry bread.
Jerry, hold on. Jerry's asking a question. The man say, hold on.
Jerry asked the man a question. He said, "We run things. Things no run we." I said, "Oh, they came to play."
The man said that. They lost.
They believe it though. They don't run it. Fam. Anyway.
All right, this episode, I'm telling you, it's gonna be viral.
So what type of challenges would you say if you wanted to get a little bit more personal and what you faced kind of growing up in that?
The challenges was staying out of trouble. Staying out of trouble, because when you're walking around the neighborhood, there's always something going on, right?
Some type of curiosity.
And then we didn't have things, right? So you look like if somebody had something, you look at the teeth and like we wanted to figure out. I mean, video games is a big thing now with all, and that stuff's expensive, but we didn't have Atari. We had Atari, but we didn't have it. You know what I mean? So we're trying to figure out how to get that. Like, and then like my mom never really gave me a pocket change. So we would go find the closest Probby Swar and they'd load the Probby Swar's our day panner, it's our corner store, and they would have all the empties in the back, the bottles. So we'd wait and just take those bottles and we'd go far across town to change out those bottles. And then you make a little $10, and then that would last you all day in the arcade. 25 cents at a time.
That's a hustle,
When you get good at the video games, the less money you're putting in, right?
Yeah, hustle.
We had arcades. Like, now everybody stays home. I don't know. I would go crazy.
Yeah.
Growing up in this day and age. Do you know it's different? I can't. Like, even now, I go on my cell phone for 20 minutes, half hour, I gotta put this down. So I don't even care where my phone is.
Yeah.
Everybody's just in. Some people, you ever put something up on social media? And there's always one or two people that answer within 10 seconds. Like, do they have this phone in their hand all day? No, it could be 12 at night, 6 in the morning, right away. Hey, like
how the devil did they have that so ready to go? Yeah.
Oh man.
Question: do you know how to work your phone?
I just basics to me. I have no super apps in there. None. It's still my alarm.
Super apps.
It's my alarm clock. It's my thing. I know. Text. Just keep it for
Yeah, that's something different about the gens for sure. You know. How do you feel about some of the stuff that you may have seen growing up actually as, like, I might refine that question. So, like, for example, in some of the elements that I'm assuming it's Montreal that you were growing up in. So now when you go back and you see that, you see your grandmother, his mother, stuff like that, and they tell you the old stories and things like that. How do you receive that?
Honestly, I look at the biggest way I see, like, the way he grew up is through the photo album. And their photo albums looked lit, brother. Him and his friends all had Mustangs. The struggle he's talking about, I don't see it. What? He must have been selling some bottles, because, the amount of Mustangs. But you know what? When I look back at their childhood, it looked like they had a really just good time. Like, everybody was just outside. They were doing stuff.
Closer to 20 in the 18, 19, 20 days. When I'm talking childhood, I'm talking.
Yeah, that's what I know.
But that's what I'm seeing. Like, they went to homecoming at Howard. Like, they look like they just did things.
Just live life.
Whereas, like, in my generation, I feel like we weren't as loose with stuff. Like, things were expensive. Everybody's like, oh, who has gas money? Like, gas money, I don't even feel they talked about gas money. Like, it was just
what was the element?
Like 10 cents?
What was the element, though?
No, I remember the gas was probably about 19 cents, like 22 cents. But we didn't have
$1.50, brother.
Yeah,
not only that.
We were siphoning. We keep
I was about to say, you say for that?
Yeah, 19 cents, bro.
Mustang at 19. You think how much bottles you think he sold?
Nah, for real.
But here's the thing.
Tell me.
Here's the thing, because like I said, he sees the Mustang. Mustang, the 5-liter Mustang, like 8-cylinder, big engine. When you touch that guy, couldn't afford that. Insurance expensive. So I bought a 2.3, right? That's a smaller engine, the 4-cylinder. Then I teefed the 5-liter. And then,
bro.
But he's telling you the truth, though.
And then we put the engine in. And then 2 weeks later, the tranny's gone. I'm like, it's not the same transmission. So I have to put the tranny in now. Then the differential went. I'm like, so I had to take everything out of the 5-liter thing. But then I didn't have the insurance. That was 2.3. So, that's the thing we had to do.
Hold on, you just steal all the different parts?
Oh, yeah.
From different cars?
Late at night, one time I took this Cobra, souped up Cobra, special edition. I was driving through this rich area of Montreal, and I see it it was on the guy's grass. I called my buddy today. We're taking this tonight. When I started it on the grass, they probably sleeping. I left the grass, kicked the grass back up the front window.
Gosh.
Oh, Cobra R. It was I drove it like it was mine. I did, because I got addicted. You get a rush when you steal a car. When the Mustang starts, it's throaty, yeah? And then when you get in somebody's car, I would just open the glove box, start throwing the CDs out the window. Like, this is my car now.
I hear that.
Look at the cologne. Okay, I'll keep this. White people keep, like, everything in there. And have deodorant in there. Like.
Life in the car.
How did you turn that life around? Because it sounds like, because it doesn't, what's interesting about you? Even though I hear these stories, I know you were never a bad person, right? And when people hear I was stealing, they think bad person. Did you have to turn that life around? How did you look at yourself as a person?
I had to, so what happened? I got caught. I got caught. I was inside. So when I moved to Toronto, I got a job working at Honda, but I was still stealing the cars at that time, right? Because cars in Toronto were clean. So you take the car from here and sell it back about jump on a GO train and come back here. But when I got caught, and I was sitting inside, there's a place they call it the Milton Hilton, Maplehurst. I'm in there. They gave me like 3 months, but I only had to do like 3 weeks in there. And I'm in there. I'm like, I shouldn't be here. Like I'm in the orange jump, look at myself in orange. Like so when you come out, they put you with a social worker, and I told her what happened, and she said to me, she goes, "What did you love about stealing cars?" I go, "It was the energy. It wasn't really the money. It was the rush." She goes, "What else do you like to do?" I go, "I like to do comedy." She said, "Take that energy from that you love and put it in there, and then you love cars. Instead of stripping them, fix them." Went to Centennial, got my mechanic license. So it's transforming that energy, and you got to learn to whatever got you doing this. You got to
channel it and move it.
And that's the biggest thing I tell people. If I could change, anybody could change. You know what I mean? To excel in to excel in something, you have to go into what you love. Like people put their kids in sports just because they like put him. I loved hockey. I tried to put him in at 6 years old. His ankles going everywhere. He didn't take to it. He loved basketball. And that's and people think your kid might not be a sports kid. He might be a guitar. He might be music. You let him try everything, and whatever he gravitates to, that's where you put the energy.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a
gem.
Good gem right there.
100% is a gem. What do you love?
Besides stealing cars,
making people laugh.
Yeah,
that I love it. I love getting up there. I love when you write a new joke. Sometimes you don't have the end of the joke, and you throw it away, and then you try it again, and try it, and then when it comes to you, you put an energy into it, and then you see the crowd feels off of that. I had one where I used to say, it was just an analogy. I say, "Yo, my ex-girlfriend had a square ass." I go, and then people are looking at me. I go, "How is that asses are supposed to have curves, not angles?" And I would get giggles. I always thought asses have curves. I was in Halifax. I'm walking back to the hotel room, and I'm like, "That's why she's not around." Boom, boom, applause break. So it's a play on words.
Yeah.
And the other one I had, same thing. I had one where I said, what did I say? I said, scientists are worried about global warming because the glaciers are melting and the sea levels are rising. And they're afraid the polar bear is going to migrate south and hook up with the grizzly bear. I go, the polar bear's going to, that's not possible. A polar bear is what, 250 pounds bigger and at least 3 feet taller? They should be worried about the black bear. I go, a polar bear is going to be a black bear like a thick white girl on a Jamaican in Hamilton.
You know what I'm saying?
So that was the joke. I would get laughs on the joke. And then one night I'm walking back to my hotel room like, so let's go home and make a panda.
Yo,
boom!
White black mix. I like that.
I got the black bear, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where the ending of that joke is just change it. And then you pause before you know what I mean?
Sells everything.
Yeah.
So funny enough to kind of piggyback off those jokes, how was life with the ladies, man? Does that trickle down to? Because I know Tashawn is one of those guys, or used to be one of those guys that really
used to be,
really, really successful with women, right? So I want to see is that a hand me down as well?
Speak the truth, eh? That's something that you instilled.
Okay, here's the thing. I met women. I've always, you meet women in college, you meet women all the time.
Of course.
When you get on stage now, you got to be careful who you talk to because they're seeing you on stage. You don't want them to just come to you. But I had girls before, like a lot of comedians are nerds. So now they get that attention and they're meeting women because they're on stage. I already had that. So it wasn't a change thing. It's just finding the right person. And when you're on the road a lot, it's hard to commit. And you try to tell somebody, but they try to change you. And then I always had trouble confrontation. So I kind of like slowly, what the kids call it now, ghosting.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Yeah.
So, have you ever been in love?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Love? Yeah, I've been in love. Yeah. But then sometimes you ask yourself, what constitute loves to you? You have to know what constitutes loves for you. And love to me is when you're with somebody, you want to laugh with them, you make love, you go out to eat dinner, you still want to see them the next day. You ready? You don't love somebody like you don't even think about them, And I think it's you want to do the little things with them. You know what I mean? not a lot of things you want to share stuff with. It's just any and anybody, right?
For sure. How do you feel like even just seeing like relationships with how your dad maneuvered with them and whatnot is it kind of reflective in how you may have moved with women as well?
I would say so. I mean, like, I feel like the way a lot of times as men, from what I've observed, the way we often approach relationships is sort of what we witnessed growing up. So me, I witnessed my dad with a lot of women growing up.
Mhm.
So that to me became the norm. Like that was normal to me.
Mhm.
And even when I think about it, I remember I'll never forget this one story. He had a girlfriend. I remember I tapped her, I was like, and I called her the wrong name.
Whoa.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I remember how mad she was.
Right.
And I remember that told me like, oh shoot, I learned at a young age, when he's around one girl, you don't mention that to any of the other.
Yeah.
Like there's no saying, because I saw how much trouble he got in
Mhm.
from that one slip up of a name.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it just showed me that like, I started thinking like, yo, you gotta have, you're a ladies man. You gotta have ladies. Like that's how you're a guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's by how much women you have. Right?
He's a guy.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, the impact was that. And it was like commitment too. Like, again, he talked about like being on the road, going from woman to woman. So for me, going from woman to woman was just
something regular.
just what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it felt like almost like women had to chase me. Like that's where I felt the thrill. Like I wasn't chasing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that wasn't like, if I met a girl and she was like, I say, hey, what's up? Ask for a number. She's like, no. I'm like, all right, later. There's no like, why not? Or like, can we please? Like, there was none of that with me. And I think a lot of those things, like, obviously I didn't see his conversations with a lot of women, but I just saw like the plethora of them. And I just thought like, yo, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
You joke on that. One night, I came home. I had my house in Mississauga, and I went into the room, brushed my teeth, and I went downstairs to the fridge to get my little bottle, a little wine. I was gonna read a book. I'm coming up the stairs. This girl's coming down in like a long t-shirt and with maybe just her underwear on. I go, where's the shot? She goes, oh, he's out. I'm like, okay, what time's he come back? She goes, I don't know. And then she just goes and sits on the couch. So I go into the room. I call T. I go, T, don't leave your girls walking around in their underwear and panties. And he goes, Daddy, same.
So with some of that relationship and then becoming a father or whatnot, do you look back and say, you know what? I could see how some of these things may have impacted.
No, I
Deshaun?
No, I did. T, because he was back and forth with me and his mom.
Right.
So, when you're doing what you're doing at a time, you're doing it to your best ability, right? So I
Right.
never looked at girls or anything like that. T would like, he would always come, like, he'd be in my car seat in the Mustang. Like,
Yeah.
and girls, be like, I'd walk around the mall with him, like, and he'd be holding my hand, and girls go, oh my God, he's so cute. And they're like, where's his mom? Oh, she passed.
This guy's cold.
And back in my day, you had to get a phone number. You had to call a house. You had to go through somebody. That's why I wouldn't know how you guys would pick up women now. I mean, you're married.
Now?
Now, like, what do
It's
you say?
easier
You
now.
say, when you guys
No, it's easier back then.
You think so?
Because the expectation was for you to come up to them. So you already knew that. Now there's all these side roundabout ways. Like there's girls that
slide into your
could be
DMs.
awkward in person, but if you slid into their DM.
Yeah, but
But if you slide into a girl's DM, realistically, if a girl ever says, yeah, here's my Instagram, she's not interested. She just wants you to follow her. Realistically.
Okay.
Could be, but some girls are awkward
if
in
a girl
person.
gives you her number, like that's what I'm saying. If you got a girl's number like back in the day, like,
yeah, but that's your only form of getting to know her.
And I'm telling you now, girls use you just to get their followers up. Oh, hey, follow me on Instagram. Boy, I asked you for your number.
And that's fair.
To your Instagram.
That's fair. But I mean, like, just in terms of picking women up, I feel like it would be tougher.
Then or now?
Then.
No.
It's tougher then. It's tougher then in the sense that you have to go up to them, but it's easier in the sense that that's what they're expecting.
Right.
Now?
So that's what I'm saying. There's many forms now. So I can go about it different ways and be successful. Whereas there was only really one way before to get that.
Yeah, but now you also have to understand the women are also getting talked to in 6 different ways.
Right.
So it's like, whereas before it's only the people that had the courage to come up to them is who they're interacting with. You get what I'm saying? Like, the only guys that she's talking to are the ones that come up to her. Now there's guys coming up to you. There's guys in your DM. There's guys every which way coming at you, left, right, sideways, on this app, on that app, on your TikTok, in your comments, in your this. There's guys. Before it was like,
I'm gonna agree to disagree still, but
What do you disagree with?
the fact that again, you could grow tired with somebody always coming up to you, always coming up to you, always coming up to you. Because regardless, if you were a fine woman, guys are coming up to you.
Yeah,
right?
but once again, like Tashawn said, they don't have the courage to come up to you. So
Shoot.
you know if a guy comes up to a girl back then, like okay, yeah, he wants my number.
But as Cedric was alluding to earlier, though, he was saying like back then it would be a lot more of the norm for you to talk to somebody. So I felt like
you have to go to their parents too sometimes, and if they're not home, or you got to wait till them to get home. Now girls are so impatient. Like, oh, you left me on read only. You left me on read only.
So another reason. That's what I'm saying. Like,
well, he'd be able to speak to that. Is it easier now or is it easier then?
Easier now.
I'm telling you.
I think it's easier now in a sense.
Certain channels that don't have to travel.
But you have to. You can't just go, hey. You got to come in different when you get the
back then,
huh?
No, now.
Because now I can hit you on WhatsApp. I can hit you on all four things. So you're gonna see my message at either one. But you can be cutesy with it, and you know if they have their phone there and they'll come back to you before. You don't know if you're coming back to you.
So I'm saying I get your number, but I don't have the answer. Like if I'm from a woman's perspective, for example, I can get your number on road, and I'll never see you again. At least if I talk to you in this place and I get your information, I could talk to you here. I could talk to you here. You're probably promoting this here or whatever else. Oh, I have my Snapchat in my bio, or I have my Facebook, this, that. Like, you know what I mean? There's just different channels you can travel to talk to a person now, where it's like, okay, you could be successful. Maybe it's not on this first day, it's the next day or the next day or the next day. But I always have some form of contact. Whether she answers or not, that's always going to be the case.
I was say that feels like a little bit of a stalker.
I still disagree.
So do I.
Because in my head, I'm thinking, as the woman, if I come up to you, this is our only chance.
Yeah, but she don't want a chance for you.
Okay, then she does it and it's done. But it's like, it's not easier for me then to try to go find her, then message her, and then message her a different way.
The crazy part is, it's easier for them to deny now.
Yes.
Deny. Yeah, but also in the same token, to give you more of a chance now, because I have 2 or 3 or 4 other avenues I could travel to talk to you. Whereas then, it's only one time I made it get to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right? So that's that's why I disagree.
Remember, way more people are coming at you now, them, because they can see their picture on you. They didn't have nobody's picture. You know what I'm saying?
You saw her there and then. It's now or never.
But that's why I think it was, to me, that's why I think it's easier, because like the gratification the gratification of women always being approached by men in all different left, right, center, it's so much.
It's an overload.
Whereas before, I feel like you approach a woman and you come correct, and you do this, it's a lot easier for you guys to have a connection.
It would be the same as now. That if you come correct, it's the same thing.
No, because
I don't feel that way.
No,
there's just too much man coming at them.
You have 100K followers on Instagram. A man comes up to you like, I'm not even hearing this. I don't care who you are.
All right, so we're definitely gonna have to revisit this. We're gonna get a woman on the podcast.
100%.
We're gonna get a woman on the podcast. We're gonna talk about this from their perspective.
I have lady friends that tell me go.
I said lady friends. You have just friends?
Yeah, friends. And
just friends.
And they'll say stuff like, because I wouldn't know how to. I mean, I'm dating, but I wouldn't know how to pick up a girl. Like, what do you say? How to get their number
in person?
In person, like it'd be harder for me to do that now because everybody's coming at this.
That's what I'm saying.
So
it's harder. You said it's harder now.
It's easier. It sounds like it's easier back in the day.
In a sense, I can agree to it, like to a sense. That's what I'm saying. Like when you guys say yes, before you had to come, you had to make sure your game was straight. You had to make sure every this, that, and the third, the steps along doing so, because this is the one time I get. But if you're not well versed in that, there's different avenues where you could travel now. It gives you different options to do so. I could Google how to approach somebody. I could do so many different things now.
That's not you, big man, though.
That's not what we asked. We said to pick up a woman. We said to pick up a woman.
But back to my point of my story is, he said the man will come at, like, they'll talk, and then the man sent a dick pic, like third.
That's how you do that thing.
What?
That's how you do that thing.
Who does that? Like, in my head, I'm like, whoa.
Google told him to do it.
That's the wrong page. You didn't get the right advice. You didn't get the right advice. He didn't go to the right. He went to the wrong Reddit page.
Like, what are your stories like? Who does this. But supposedly it's a normal thing.
People do
Don't
that.
listen.
No, it's a thing. It's a thing.
We will get the
How you know
women-
it's a thing?
No, because
We'll get-
I don't send dick pics. But yo, this girl I met.
Are you looking at me?
No. I met this girl once, and she's just like, she said to me, she's like, yeah, like I love when guys send me a dick pic, and I was like,
that's ridiculous.
Yo, my face, whoever camera caught my face just now, please clip that up. That's crazy.
I'm like, hold on a second. You're saying if you see a dick you like, there's a chance it could work? She goes, yeah.
What?
And I'm like, you are the 0.001%.
We got to get the women perspective.
That it's not, but not all women. Like most women will tell you no.
No,
but this one person,
I'm not speaking for nobody.
she was one of the rare people that do like it.
Right.
So I feel like there are men who shoot this shot,
right,
and it has worked in one rare instance. It's gross.
Don't look at me. I don't know nothing about nothing. I don't receive those.
When people have certain game, it makes me think, has this worked for you before?
Maybe. No, but it has. Because it's the same thing as if you play basketball. Oh, the coach tells you, don't shoot that shot. But I practiced that shot. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Somewhere it worked.
One time in the game?
Somewhere it worked.
It's disgusting.
Somewhere it worked.
It's actually disgusting.
So, all right, let's channel back. Becoming a father, you know, how's that journey? Actually, this is kind of an open question for you and Terrell, to be honest.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's like you make you look a mini me, like, and then you want to put everything that you didn't have into that. Like you want to show them, you want to bring them around, you want to do the things you couldn't do when you were younger. Like I couldn't go out with my mom and taking me here and show, you know what I mean? She had to work all the time. So I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed watching them grow and the different stages and the challenges that you have with them. There's always a challenge. Like, you know, they're always gonna test you. Children will always test you. And one time he kicked off after me, I was like, I said, he threw the ball down the road. I go, let's go. And he kicked his foot out. What? I give him a piece of clap on this piece of leg. He looked shocked.
Was that your first time hitting him?
I would sometimes not. I never beat him. Never beat him. Of
course not.
But sometimes you have to give him a little thing. I look a stinger.
The Jamaican came out here and I have to give him a little thing, you know?
Yeah, bro, that's where we learned it from, bro.
Yeah. Like sometimes my mom used to pinch me and then you go, you know,
collect yourself.
But a hurt pinch, not like a cute pinch, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes, you have to clap them on this part of the leg, the meaty part.
Terrell?
Now for me, like it's the same thing like what Cedric says, like it's your mini me, right? The first time I had my son, like I was, what was I? I was 25. I was young, you know, didn't know anything about being a father. My father was in and out. It's not like he wasn't there, but he was in and out. So I just knew, like he said, everything I didn't have, I want to give them. But that's also spoiling them to a sense because, like, I realized, like I said, sometimes I look at my son and I'm like, you're a little soft. I need you to be a little bit more rough on the edges, right? And I never understood when my cousins used to say that to me, right? So it played an effect when, like, he would always drive to the basket and it said, like, I'm getting hit. What should I do? So when we practice now, I just push him. So if I could push you, I'm a grown ass man. If I could push you, these little kids, when you drive now he's like, oh, daddy, I'm getting that once.
Yeah.
So that's why it goes back to, like, you know, you want to give them the things that you never had because I'm fragile. Right? I'm like, look tough, but I'm fragile. Weak ankles. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna put it out there. Weak, brother.
Yeah.
You know, that's what always stopped me from running track, basketball, and all these things. I'm just always hurt. So like, I try to make him a little rougher than I was. And then I had a daughter. When I never thought I would have a daughter, but I had a daughter. And when I look at her, it's like, shit, that is me. Like, she looks exactly like me, right? Like, if you look at my baby pictures and you look at her, you're like, damn.
Splitting him.
But no, my son's a little on the softer side. She's the rough rider. Like, I'm hearing him say, daddy, tell her to stop. She's choking him out. And you guys are laughing. So I'm like, you know when your back's turned and you're like, yo, bro, you're over 5 years older than her. No, she has him in a headlock.
You like that though? You make it look a tough girl too though. Like,
you know what I said? You guys figure it out. You know what I mean?
Navigate that channel, big boy.
You know what I'm saying? I know no one's gonna punk her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my son, he got punched in his face. And like I was telling you guys the other day, he looked at me and I said, what'd you do? I said, nothing. I said, what do you mean nothing? You think I could have told my mom I did nothing? My mom probably, let me help you. I'm bust my ass too. All right. So when he told me that, like you as a father, like Cedric's gonna take a test of this. Like, you don't want nobody messing with your kids, no matter what it is. You don't want. It doesn't matter if he's right, he's wrong. You don't want nobody messing with your kids, right? So I got really upset. I had to catch myself because I had to be like, you know what? I can't show him that I'm upset. So when I asked him, I said, "What did you do?" And he's like, "Nothing." I was like, "What do you mean nothing?" He goes, "Daddy, 2 wrongs don't make it right." So I caught myself.
So
I
he's
caught
right,
myself.
but it's like,
Yeah, no. I caught myself. I said, listen to me. I'm going to tell you this one time and one time only. If anybody puts their hands on you, you have my permission to put your hands back on them. Don't hit a woman, though. If a kid hits you, you hit him back. Right?
I was taught that, too.
He went to school probably like a month later, and the same kid hit him, and he popped him in his mouth. So they went down to the office or whatever, and, heard about it. How you feel, though? Because I got him good. Nice. You know what I mean? And I'm not condoning violence, but the kid thought he could try him again. Yeah. Right? So, he hit him. My daughter now, she's the one getting the incident reports against her. Usually when they give you an incident report at daycare, they're like, oh, somebody hit,
such and such child.
Yeah, we got to let you know that this cannot be happening, and we're sorry that it happened to your child. No, I get the, can I speak to you for a minute? Anytime you hear something's coming. So I'm like, she's a little rough. I said, yeah, she don't mess around. So they looked at me and they're like, okay, we're gonna talk to the mother.
Yeah, see, we can chat.
I pick her up. She had a good day. She had a good day. And we walked out. That's all I need to know. She had a good day, right? Like she had a scar on her face, and I read the incident report. Kid took her toy, scratched the kid. The kid scratched her back. They're like, how do I feel about that? I said, what happened? I'm like, well, how did she feel after? Like, well, she had a great day. And then she had a great day. And I kept it moving.
Cedric, how do you feel about just that baseline of, anybody messing with Tashawn or any of the other children? Like
The beauty about Tashawn, his mom was tough. His mom was a fighter.
So I
wasn't, and he was always bigger. Tashawn was like, they say big boned. He wasn't big boned, but Tashawn, and he skipped a grade, but Tashawn was always bigger. So nobody was really messing with him. He wasn't sucky. I knew he wasn't. And then my brother would tease him all the time. You have sometimes, they get whiny. You have to tease them. If you keep coddling, like I said, a kid has to fall down and scrape his knee off his bike to get back up to ride that bike again. If you put all these pads on them, you're not doing them any favors.
Yeah. I also think, like, people say bullying, and bullying has become like a evil term, like it's wrong. But I also think like bullying is part of growing up.
Bring it back, bro.
And not bullying in the terms of like where it's abuse, but bullying as somebody has to tease you and mess with you a little bit for you to build up that strength and that resilience to be like, yo, I'm my own person. Because like if you're coddled your whole life, when you get out into because the real world is cold. That's real world's cold. So it's like ice.
That's the thing that's funny. I feel like, we say a lot of things, are bad for the mental and different things like that. But in a sense, they help shape some of your characteristics. And whether you deem that negative or not, it was just like one of those things that it just is, right? Because if you don't deal with that coming up in your livelihood or whatever, and you get, like you said, you get out into the world now, the world's not pulling no punches. You know what I'm saying? However you get presented with things is how you get presented. So no one's gonna be there to be like, man, there's another route for you. No, you gotta go, you gotta get up, dust that stuff off and figure it out, right? So to a degree, I feel like, I agree. There's things that you just have to go through.
Yeah.
Same thing, like one of my boys, D's like, yo, I think my son's in a gang. He's hanging. He's in a gang. He's always hanging out by the Tim Hortons. I go, D, we grew up in Cote Nets. Like we mess with cars. We didn't walk with guns or nothing like that. Kids in a gang. Like, how's in a gang? You have a finished basement in Saga. He bathes with a loofah. Like, how are you in a gang? A gang means you're on the streets and you're surviving because of the streets. That's what to be tough. Right. You can't be in a house playing what do you call it? Fortnite thinking you're tough.
Some guys do, believe it or not, right? The guys at my workplace. I played some Call of Duty last night. Shot that guy. Like you said that, yeah, you said that a little too like. What do you mean you shot
Like
that guy?
did something for him,
you know,
like,
yeah, you know what I mean?
relieve stress, I guess. You know.
But like since we're on the topic of fatherhood, Cedric, I have a question for you because I'm a young father. I don't want to say you're an old father, but you're up there.
OG father.
Yeah, just say OG. Make you feel a little better.
I had him young too, which I like because people think
How young?
I had him at 20. Me and his mom were 20, and I was with his mom for a while. Like I fell in love with her.
So you were, yeah, okay. So you were in love. Seeing as you were with Sean's mom, how long were you guys together for?
So we met in college. So I left college in Montreal. You finish high school at grade 11. So you guys go to 12 sometimes, all 13. So I'm coming out. Right? My birthday's in June, so I'm coming out of high school at 16 years old.
Fresh.
And then we had to go. Me and his mom went to. They call it Dawson. We could call it college, right?
Yeah.
CJEP.
It's called CJEP.
Gotcha.
And the hard part, like I made the basketball team. I didn't play basketball in high school, but I made the CJEP. I made the Dawson team. Then we had to come here and play Humber, and the Humber mans were like 22. So you're running through picks, and they're like they're men, like we're still boys. But if I played like how Curry started young, I just understood the game. That's why I coached. I knew the X's and O's. I couldn't get there and hit those shots like that, but I understood the game. And anyways, his mom, I met her in college because I didn't pass chemistry in high school. My teacher, I hated balancing equations. My teacher was from Antigua. Was it Antigua or Montserrat? And anytime I'm trying to balance an equation, he wouldn't put wrong. He put utter nonsense. So I took it again in college, and his mom was sitting behind me, and we dated for a few years before. So I had him at 20. So me and her were together from like 17.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we didn't know what we were doing, but we knew we loved them. You know what I mean? So you're gonna make it work, and it was so good that we had both grandparents. When it's just a mother and a kid, that's way harder, man. And it was back and forth. But I enjoyed it. There's never like sometimes mom go to your dad. Like I fight with my daughter's mom. You know what I mean? I say, well, yeah, you live your life. You go here, you go there. You don't care. Da, da, da. I go, I do care, but this is my life. Like I didn't plan this, but I will deal with it. And then I said, okay, give her to me. You don't want to give her to me. You go live your life. How come I don't have that option?
Doesn't work that way, big man.
So actually, I want you to kind of lean into that topic a bit, like just even with the strained relationships with your children's mothers and stuff like that. How does, like, you don't have to get so personal, but even when you mention just like the option of receiving your children and allowing them to kind of be free the way that you were or that they said you were. Talk about that a little bit.
Here's the thing. When you meet me like this, right? This is who you met. If you chose to have a child, I know I'm going to try to help out as much as I could, but it's still being me. If I told you I'm going to marry you, I'm going to have a 9 to 5, and I did that, and then I went and did this, I would understand you being mad. But this is the same person you met. So how do you expect me to do all this and get mad at me because this is the person you knew who you were lying down with?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I can add on to that. I think it comes down to they probably look at you as more responsibility now. When I say that, I mean like because they knew who they were talking to, right? Because I run into that problem sometimes as well, where they want you to now change your lifestyle, right? Without telling you to change it, they want to tell you later on when they're mad at you to change your lifestyle. So with that being said, like you said, you're still living your lifestyle and you're still doing this. They want you to kind of like change it in a sense where they want you to be more of a father and be here, but it's not like you can't. It's because the lifestyle that you're living, that's what pays your lifestyle, right? Like the touring, the comedy shows, and doing all those things. And if you do cut that down, then you lose money, and then you can't provide the way that some of them want you to provide more, or whatever the case may be. So like I get it's a tough balance. I get it, and I don't know what the balance is. So that's why when it goes back to like you said, they knew who they were getting into it with, and you never promised them to marry and all that. I wouldn't say that even if you did say, "Hey, I want to marry you," I guarantee you most of them wouldn't have said no.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So
like
I think so. It's they have all this resentment.
Exactly.
It didn't go out the way they wanted it to go, and it hurts me in a sense. Was I a good daughter? Was I a good father to my dad? No, was I good? Sorry, was I a good father to my daughter? probably wasn't. I probably wasn't. I was, T was already older. I was still chasing my comedy dreams, like getting more and more gigs, and I tried to show up as much as I could. But when you go to pick up your daughter and you're battling the mom every time you're going there, it's so hard. And then they'll throw stuff in your face like, okay, don't bother, come back here, or, you know what I mean? And they'll come at you like that. And if it's me, that's the problem. Okay, I get it. You don't want me in her life. But why won't you let her go to my mother's house? Why can't you have a relationship with my mom and my sister like how he has it? How could and they can't answer that.
What do you wish you did differently as a father?
Or either?
In general.
What do I wish? I called more. I wish cause sometimes a day turns into 2 days, like sometimes a week and a half, and I haven't called them. Like I think I'm ADD. I think I'm ADD, and I just have no.
You actually don't have to.
No, but it goes back into the lifestyle, right?
We had that conversation. That's what I was gonna say.
No, let me. The reason why I say that is because last night, like, I didn't get home till 4:30. I felt like I was gonna crash like 3-4 times. My son has swimming this morning at 12, right? And I'm coming here to do the podcast with you guys, and I text my girl. I'm like, I'm gonna pop in on the swimming. She's like, don't bother. Yeah. You're not gonna tell me don't bother. And I think that, like, maybe your pride and your ego gets in the way, Cedric, when they say, not to show up. Like, I told swimming started at 12. I'll be there at 12, but I gotta be here because I made a commitment to doing this at a certain time. So I'm gonna pop in for 15, 20 minutes. My son saw me, he smiled, he laughed. Where I saw her, she's angry. Be angry. You can be mad at me as long as you want to be mad at me, as long as I'm there for my kids. Right? Even it, like you said, that little call, even if you did give them a call, they're probably happy to hear your voice. Right? Because I realized those things, like he played a basketball game on Friday. I couldn't make it. I just couldn't make it. But he has a game on Monday. I'm gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like, just pop in on those little things and those little phone calls. I realized that makes a difference because my dad didn't call either. Yeah. Right? He was supposed to show up on Sunday. He wouldn't show up sometimes. But when he did, we're happy to see him because they're always going to be happy to see you. At the end of the day, you're their father. Yeah. You only have one father, one mother. And I realized, like, you're going to love them no matter what. Right? Because, like I said, my dad wasn't really there, but I still love the guy. I'm still angry at him, but I still love him. Right? So they're always going to love you, Cedric.
When I would show up at the basketball games, his mother would rush across the stands in front of him. I brought Deshaun with me. She's fighting me at the game. And in my head, because how I grew up, I wish I had a dad that would pop in. Even once. I would love that.
You're going to remember the time that he did.
Yeah, but now it's like, how dare you come? And then you're looking, it's a girls' team. You're looking in the stands, it's all mothers, maybe 2 dads, if that. So, but just the fact that I'm coming and I'm trying to support her and then get rushed, get the hell out of here, I couldn't understand it.
She's mad at you.
So, just 2 questions I want to ask. One directed to you, but one to just piggyback quickly. When you see those things, right? Like you said, with him being on the road and doing different things. And we talked about this last podcast as well, with just life getting busier, So you said one day turns into 2 and 3. It's not that you intentionally mean to miss out. It's just like you're doing so many things that, it just falls to like with each new thing, something always takes precedence at the time. Now, with you in that, how did that feel for you at the time that you were growing up, and then even seeing it with your siblings? I know you have a better relationship with now, right?
I mean, like, seeing how my sister reacts to my dad, I understand. Right? And I think the challenge that we sometimes think is that everybody has to process things the same way. You know what I mean? So, like, how my dad was toward me, I don't think is drastically different to how he was toward my sister, but they're different people. That's a different mom you're dealing with and a different child you're dealing with, and a girl child at that. So I think for me, like, my situation was different too, in the sense that my mom was kind of like, get out, go to your dad.
I don't get that. I wish
that's not happening over there. So that's one. So it's like him and I's relationship was also, it grew because I was pushed onto it. That's one thing. Secondly, I think sometimes, and what Terrell is kind of saying was so true, just showing up. Sometimes I think as men, we get into situations where we overthink what we have to do. And sometimes just the showing up is enough. And I don't think he showed up consistently in my sister's life. to the point where it broke her heart, to the point where she's like, I don't want him around, period, anymore. And I can understand that, because when someone doesn't show up for you, it could be you either long to see them more or you don't want to see them at all. And I think for her, it got to that point where it turned to anger, it turned to resentment, it turned to all these different things.
Without any communication. Because with T, he would always call me or tell me this and that. I don't think she'd ever call me once. You know what I mean? So it's like.
But the problem with you, in my opinion, is that you're focusing too much on what they're doing. And I feel like even the way you frame this conversation is like what they did. But it's like, I think you actually have to look inside and be like, what can I do? Or what can I have done? And now what didn't I do? And what can I do better going forward? And I think that's the question you're going to have to sit with yourself and ask.
That's so heartbreaking when you send messages and nothing comes back. It's like,
For sure.
Hold on. I'm going to cut you off there, Cedric. I have to.
It's discouraging.
The same thing I told Steph about the messages. So it's no, because
you're right. I laugh because you're right.
Right? Like, sometimes it's not about the message. And I realize it's about the effort. And when I say that is, you're going to have to show up. Doesn't matter if the mother's fighting you. Doesn't matter what's going on. Because one of my boys is dealing with the same thing you're dealing with. And he called me crying. And he's like, what should I do? Because I don't know how to go about this. I said, be there for your child. Right? The mother is going to hate you, whatever the case may be. But if they see, you know what, he's fighting, he's doing this. And hey, listen, I'm not here to fight you. I just want to see my daughter. She doesn't want to see you. Let her tell me that. Let me talk to her. Let me just say hi. So she could see the effort. Once they see the effort, the whole perspective of everything about Cedric changes. They'll be like, oh, he really does care. Because I tell you this right now, they think you don't care. That's all it is.
Sean told me that too.
I can see, right? They just think you don't care, but you do it. And like I said, it goes back to the lifestyle where you gotta, I hate to say this, but you're gonna have to like push that aside for a little bit to make that relationship work by watering it more.
16,
right?
17 now.
It's gonna be tougher. It is, but that's the boat you're in now, big man. You gotta now push that paddle, not that make anybody push it for you, right? So that's just my advice to you. Where I would say, don't reach out. You're gonna have to show up.
But did you just pop up at the house?
I wouldn't. Listen, my boy told me he obviously he knows where his child lives. He sat outside the house. He said for almost 4 hours waiting for his daughter to come out. And and then he walked her to school. He didn't drive her. He walked her to school. They talked, and he's like, I know you think I'm the bad guy right now, but I'm the one who's trying to make our relationship better. I know your mother hates me for what I did to her back in the day. And he kept it real. Like, he was just telling her everything. He's like, Daddy's always going to be there for you. Call me. I'll be here every day waiting 4 hours if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
He brought a tear to my eye because I'm like, he shouldn't be going through that. But he is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying, Cedric. I know as men, we all have our pride and our ego. But my advice to you, put that aside and say, you know what? Even if the mother punches me in the face, even if they beat me up, you their bloody mouth, I'm still gonna be here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the 2 years of COVID, I was just getting frustrated that I wouldn't go in to see her, and then, it was Father's Day, so I asked her. I said, you want to come over? T's coming over. He came over one Father's Day, and the other one she goes, this one broke my heart. I go, she goes, I can't come, Dad. I'm going to she goes to a meeting with Girls Without Dads. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
She said that personally to get at you.
Yeah. She go to a meeting, and then it's like, went to court. You have to go through it was COVID. You had to do a Zoom thing, and the judge spoke. I said I wanted every other weekend and every other Wednesday and every other birthday. Christmas. And that was what I asked for. And her mom's like, no, that ain't happening, whatever. So the judge looked at everything, goes, okay, you want me to decide on it, or I could talk to your daughter? She talked to my daughter. My daughter says she wants to see me, but I don't have to go through the mom anymore. And then every time after that I reached out, she was always busy. So I'm like, oh. I just felt so discouraged. And you're right. I didn't put in that effort.
That's my thing. When people tell you they're busy, when are you not busy? I'm going to show up for you now. When are you not busy? Right? That's what you got to hit them with. Reverse it on them. Oh, I'm busy on this. I'm busy. No, okay. So you're busy that day. When are you not busy? Oh, you're busy every day? Okay, so what are you doing that's making you busy? So we could probably do it together. You know what I'm saying? Switch the narrative on them.
Because you got to go on offense, right? It can't be like, oh, when it works, when does it work for you? It's like you got to, and that's one thing I'm realizing about life, even with me, is like sometimes you got to put your ego aside. and go
That's
on
the hard
offense.
part. Ego.
And it is the hard part.
Ego is your biggest thing, man.
But
Egos, yeah.
And it doesn't just transcend one area of your life. It's like in business. I'm sure you can relate to this as being a comedian. We were talking about this earlier, and you said there's probably somebody less talented than you as a comedian that works way harder than you. Why does sometimes what holds us back from believing in ourselves? The fact that we could fail, and that how's it going to look, and all these things, these external things we're thinking about, rather than just focusing on like, what do I want, and how do I go through all these no's to get what I actually want? That's something that we've been scared to do. And I think for you, it's like being a father does require you to change a little bit. It requires you to put something that you have important aside for a greater purpose sometimes for your child.
Okay.
And I think,
but why? Okay, so, but with you, I know you said we're different, but why doesn't an effort come from that side a little bit?
So I don't have no children or anything like that, but even just I feel like listening to everybody comment on it a bit, it kind of goes back to what we were speaking on last episode, where we're kind of talking about women wanting men to kind of show up for them in ways that maybe we don't even understand, right? Because we're men. So when it goes back to how even Tashawn was either forced on you or whatever the case, he may not have seen you for however long, but he'll make the effort to call you or whatever the case, right?
Tashawn would call me all the
You know what I'm
time.
saying? So it's like for men, we're kind of like next move. We don't really build up that pool of resentment or whatever all the time. So when it comes to now maybe your daughter or even their mothers, you may have to just, like Terrell or Tashawn are saying, that even just showing up for them in ways that you as a man would not even think about, just because that's not something that we're wired to do, right? So it's not so much that he moves differently and she moves differently. It's just like she just may require a different type of water and seeding than he would. You know what I mean?
But I grew up in a house where my mother left my dad. My dad when I was 3 years old in Jamaica. Left him. He came home. His bed was made. The food was cooked, and he's gone with me. My mother laughs about it still. She goes, "If I would have did that today, they would have locked me up." And so my dad, when I spoke to him after they killed him, but he held that in, right? And so when he found me, I'm in grade 5. Phone rings. House phone. Who's this? Cedric. Who? Cedric who?
Is they Cedric too?
I have a junior, yeah.
Oh,
And he just passed away 2 weeks ago. And I had to suppress that, go on stage and do 2 shows, and didn't even talk about it. And then it hit me the next day, because it's still my dad. Even though we weren't super close, still my dad. And because somebody said, "You guys weren't close." I go, "No, not like me and my mom, obviously, because if it was my mom, I would have canceled both those shows. There's no way I'm going on stage."
Sure.
Dad was still able to do it. So he finds me in grade 5. Every summer, he lives in Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, and I'd go spend the whole summer, maybe a month, come back with the new Nikes, ponies. You know what I mean? Like, I loved it, but we never really talked. He was just dad. But my mom, it wouldn't matter. 5 days would pass after we rekindle. Call your dad. 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 She had no relationship. Call your dad. So I'm hearing call your dad all the time. Sometimes I didn't even feel like calling him, but I would call my dad. So now go from that to have a daughter that's never called me.
Again.
Never. No, not once. Never.
Again, it might just be
from 5, but to me it's not, because I know, like, Tashawn will be 5 years old. He's calling me, and so you have it just something didn't feel.
The relationship
is a new relationship, Cedric.
They're different people, right? And for some mothers, respect to all mothers, but when you're raising a son, they may just come to terms with the importance of having a man to raise a man, right? Whereas for a woman, right, or a daughter, they look at it and be like, you know what?
Daddy,
I'm all they need. Possibly. Where it's like, yo, maybe I'm all they need, because as a mother, I've been doing this by myself. I'm going to teach this woman how to do all and fend for her by herself. They may not understand the importance of what a father's role may take into raising their daughter, right? So don't look at it, again, as one's doing and one's not, right? Look at it first like, yo, as the father, that regardless of whatever that mother may be talking about, the father plays an intricate role in development, regardless of the gender of the child, right? So it just, again, it comes down to that effort for you.
That is that on two parents, even though me and Chantal co-parented, you still should know your other parent. No,
you need to.
You learn, you grow more when you
need
see
to.
who you are You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You take a bit from each, right? Even though you spend more time with your mom, you still see parts of your, you know what I mean? I got this from my dad.
Luckily for me, like I'm assuming everybody's talked about it so far, but it's like everybody here has come up in a home where parents are split, right? My parents are split for the longest I can remember, but I know that they stay together to a point of, which was unique for me. I found it even more difficult that they were together even when they know they didn't want to be, but for the children.
For the kids, yeah.
But for me, it was like, we knew that we got to an age, it was like 18, 19, where you guys were still trying to force this thing together for us. And it's like, bro, you guys would have been better off for just your own selves if you guys just let us know earlier and parted thinking that one way would work, but they didn't know any better, right? But again, it just boils down to how you deal with it and hopefully making the changes. You know what I'm saying? That Tashawn alluded to.
I'm gonna put the effort in as much as I can. But you know, it's like I always said, better like water. Water takes the least path of resistance. And you always try to go the easiest way.
You're gonna get the resistance no matter what because of all the damage that's been done. But like I said, it doesn't even matter at this point. The whole point is just having a relationship with your daughter, right? You don't, because like you said, it broke your heart when she said she's going to a place without fathers or something like that. Yeah. That would break my heart too if my daughter told me that, right? So you don't want to obviously feel like that anymore. So my advice to you, just make the effort, right? Even if you're still getting denied, because like Tashawn said on the last podcast, we go harder for things that don't, for example, like our friendships, we don't go as hard for our friendships as we do for a job, right? And when I heard that, I was like, oh, damn, like, you know, like we want to know, oh, let me check, did I get that job? And you're always checking.
Or a link to anything, you know, any of those things.
Right, so you're gonna get pushed back, you're gonna get denied, you know what you do? You keep showing up. And when you keep showing up, eventually it's like trying to get that girl's number. Like in the DM, you keep going, you're going to get a response. You're going to get a response. It's not going to be tomorrow. It might be a year from now, but you're going to get it. When you get it, you're going to be like, that's where my effort went.
And you feel better for just trying, for knowing that you did all that you can do, right? If you guys don't have anything more on that topic. I kind of want to just change tones even.
No, because a lot of things happen, but my question to Cedric at first was with fatherhood. I'm a young father, you're an OG.
Angela got
right. Is there any advice you would give me that you've done and you want to make right? Like, for example, anything positive or negative?
Being a young father, you have to work. You still got to work at your job and stuff. It's life's short. I see people dropping. I see this spend times, little things the kids like, the little things being, you know what I mean? Like when your son drops, scrapes his knee, and you're there to take him to just like no reason, just take him to Burger King one day. You know, just out of nowhere. Spend the little moments they remember. I find more than, oh, I bought him this. You know, you remembered about your nice pair of shoes, but you know, it's the spending time that we would I'd pick him up, and we go play at Michael Powers ball, right? Centennial, or I take him down to. We would just go around the block. We just go down to the park by Bath. Those were the times that were the best to me, right? And of course, when he was younger, I was Big Spoon. That don't work no more.
I'm not sleeping with you.
Because you're gonna miss that because when they start to get to high school, they're not gonna want to hang with dad no more. Even though he still hung with me because I was a cool dad, but I was the neighborhood dad. Yeah. All these guys, I never met your dad.
Yeah,
I think I met him once. Like, you know what I mean? Terrell's dad and Theon's dad too, but these guys were as more friends than dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was definitely everybody's dad, and to his point, like when you remember anything, you always remember the best parts or the worst parts. And I think when I remember my childhood, I think the most things I remember with him were just fun things, fun, spontaneous. Let's go to Wonderland. Let's go to that's what I remember of my childhood. That makes me smile.
Right.
It was the fun moments. Yeah, he was inconsistent. He let me down a lot.
But you see that.
But there was still a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just. He made sure that we did things and he made sure I had experiences, and he made sure like I got out there and had fun.
Yeah, and when I was coach, he knew I loved coaching, and he was always ready to learn. So that was what, you know what I mean? In the games, that's what brought us together. Right? You know what I mean? Just
well, speaking of coaching, so mad at you about something that you did to us when we were a little bit younger.
You weren't, yeah.
No. Yeah, nothing. We needed Cedric. Cedric was our assistant coach, but he was our head coach. You know those ones where like the head coach is only there because he has money.
Yeah, he put the team together, but he's not the coach.
You know, he didn't put the team. Cedric put the team together.
See, even
he was just there because
the placeholder.
He wanted his son to play.
Got it.
It was one of those. And Cedric, not having your coach is not like having your point guard, right? Because believe it or not, like Cedric, what he said earlier, like, you know, I didn't know he played ball because when he coaches, you would think like, yo, he knows what he's doing, right? So now when he says he played ball, now it makes sense because now playing basketball and coaching basketball is two different things. But when you put them together, you know the player and the coaching side. And like I was saying, we needed Cedric, right? Our team wasn't the strongest, but we were good enough to win, right? Because Cedric drew up some plays, told us that guy can't go left, that guy can only go right, that guy can't do this, he can't shoot back up. Like, he told us those things. So I remember at halftime, I think the game was close, right? And we need don't laugh. We needed Cedric, and Cedric kind of faded back out the team huddle. And we're like, he goes, guys, I'll be back. What does that mean?
During the game, where you going?
What is that? At halftime, he goes, I gotta show, you know, the times, you know, didn't mesh. So we all looked at each other like, we're all looking like, oh, this has to be a joke. He probably going to the bathroom because he's always joking. Third quarter goes by. We're like, where's Cedric? Cedric's gone. Cedric's not there. And we were still in the game. But we needed him because you want to know why? Having that voice to push you,
of course, works
all the time. Our other coach, he wasn't that guy.
We trusted that guy, yeah.
He was the guy to be like, Tashawn!
Don't substitute all these things.
Tashawn looked back like, what are you going to tell me? Yeah. You know what I mean? Theon! And then Theon, when the pressure hit, his belly started hurting.
Lip, remember the lip was coming out?
I don't want to get into all the lip.
Shout out Theon, man. Don't talk bad about my guy.
Like I said, belly would hurt him. We needed Cedric. And when Cedric left, I felt like a part of the whole team left, right? Yeah. Because of like we needed that void. Yeah. So now I'm going to play it back to, you see, being there, Cedric. Just being there, your presence alone, believe it or not, you spark up a room. That's why being a comedian, yeah, you said it's hard for people, but you make it look easy because, like you guys said, going on stage is not easy, right? Just going on stage itself is not easy because you build up, you start doubting yourself. But now to make a room laugh, he does that. And making the room laugh, going back to the basketball court where we needed his voice to push us over that hump. Because when Cedric was there, we were winning games. No question. When Cedric wasn't there, I don't even know who that team was. I didn't even know. People were doing things out of character. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I come back to saying, Cedric, I want to know, did you really go to a show?
Yeah. I wouldn't leave.
He's with the square body team.
I wouldn't leave for football. I wouldn't leave for football.
Right? And that was my first year playing basketball. And that's the image I had of Cedric for a little bit.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, that gets overshadowed by, you know, the little times that he was there and then the big times he was there. Because when I see Cedric now, I remember that. But then I remember Cedric made me stay in his house. Cedric would pick us up for games. Cedric would be at my house on Sundays for dinner. You know, like, and that's what I remember about Cedric. Those things overshadow that one time that he wasn't there. Right. But I still think about it. So I just wanted to make sure you went to a show. That was
thank you, sir. And, another thing I say, keep in mind, you said about spending time with him. Like sometimes girls say, "Oh my God, your son's beautiful." Or, you don't. I know he's a man. I know, but you always gonna picture them as your little boy. You know what I mean? So when they're telling me, like, what do you mean he's sexy? Like,
I can't see my son like that.
Like I'm disgusted. Like I don't even want to think. Like you hear Puff Daddy is rinsing girls with his son. Like what? You lock this guy up. Lock this guy up.
No Diddy.
Lock him up. No Diddy. No more.
This guy's slippery when he's dry, bro.
That would have got you.
So just, you know, kind of change tones and kind of asking you now, like raising a son, and then being your own man now and just developing in life, going throughout life. How do you define what masculinity is? Like we're a mental masculinity podcast. We're trying to promote, you know, proper masculinity. So for you, if you had to describe in short what you would define as masculinity.
first of all, being able to talk your feelings. Men hold everything in.
Mhm.
And to being able to talk and ego and your feelings and just letting that out. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Because that's one thing we learned. And one of the things we said on one of our last podcasts is like, we were letting times go by and sometimes T wouldn't call me. I wouldn't hear from him for 3 weeks. Sometimes months I would. And we said, no, we're going to change that. Like, I'll just call up for no reason sometimes.
Yeah.
What's going on? You good? And I noticed with him in the last 2 months, even before your wedding, you were looking tired. And I always say to T, make sure you rest yourself. There's 24 hours in a day, but do less, but do, you know what I mean? And he's doing a lot. Brain could be going, could be relationship, whatever. I had people always say to me, oh, you don't take things seriously, but somebody can't take things too seriously either, right? Like I said, I just lost a comic, 43 years old, cancer. And her last, just the last 2 weeks, I did a show with her, and then she went into hospice a week later. And you're just spending time with her, you realize the little things everybody fights about, face, don't put me on Facebook, it means nothing. Life is more important, right? It's people argue over stupid things when your health is the most important thing. Health. And that's why masculine is good. You have to eat right. Try to get it. I don't get enough sleep most of the time, but I try to eat right, and I gotta eat. People don't know, even if you're not a gym workout guy, even if it's 20 minutes a day, it releases something in you and you feel better about yourself, right? And that's what I gotta say. Like, masculinity is about being vulnerable.
I like that. Even more so now, like, what do you like in terms of your family and growing up? How do you feel like that shaped you as a man? And then in turn, now, if you had to give us any gems on how it shaped you as a man, what would you say?
Even my mom has dementia, right? And as I was leaving to come out here, and my uncle's there, and they're both sitting there. My sister's on the couch, and I look at her, man, my family's so goddamn dysfunctional, but I love it. I didn't have any kind of role model. My mom was mom and dad. My mom would beat me for mom and dad. Like, she had the belt, and it's like we just there was no, like, there's rules, but there was nothing taught. So now it's hard for me to put it with him. I try to instill stuff with him, because you always want your kid to be better than you, right?
100%.
And you want him to so his mom would focus on the school stuff, but I would still try to, like, make sure he goes, like, with my younger brother, he never got any marks. He was a good basketball player. 16, couldn't get into no college. Nothing. I forgot of it. I wish I could have been a dad to him too. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's back to, what was the original question again?
It's just like what kind of shaped you as a man? Like, what kind of?
I didn't have. Just, it was the streets.
Yeah.
It was
So even if that's not,
No, but the streets could shape you as a man. It's just
so even if that, like, you had to allude to that.
Because I remember the older cats. I didn't know nothing about dealing drugs and stuff. I knew later on. I knew they did that. Like, like I said, I used to teach BMXs. That's how it starts off with BMXs. Build the bikes. We did that. We did with my ex Amy during COVID. She goes, hey, let's go to Canadian Tire and buy some bikes. White people buy bikes? Like, what?
Definitely.
I bought a bicycle in my life. I even teach his bike. Like,
no, this is for you, big man.
You want to make them happy. It doesn't matter where it came from.
Yeah.
We'll find it. You know what I mean? But
I think he stole my first car too. I'm not sure. Police pulled me over. It says his car's white. I'm like, no, it's black. It's what says it's white in the system. I was like, where do you get this car from? Like, my dad got it. I don't know where it came from.
Snitches get stitches.
That's crazy.
Oh man. All right. So kind of the streets and your outside environment is kind of what shaped you.
Yeah, because looking back on it now, the cats that were older cats in my neighborhood, I was always the happy, funny kid, right? So they never, certain hoods will take you underneath and groom you to sell or go on the. Never did that with me. They kind of knew, in a weird way, they kind of knew I had a different talent.
Yeah.
The same thing, like when I was growing up, there was the OGs, which we consider just older than us, but then there was the big man them. That's what we would say. And the OGs always try to pull you in. Hey, yeah, you should do this. Hold this or do this, right? But then the big mans will always be like, yo, you're better than this. Go to school. You know what I'm saying? There's no life in this. And you're looking at them, seeing them make money, seeing them, drive nice cars, women in and out. And you're like, I want that. That's life's easy. You got up at 12 and you're going back to bed at, 9? That's a great life. But then there's always that one guy that like sits and talks to you and says, this is not what you want. Right. And that guy for us, I don't want to say his name on the podcast,
of course,
but I'm going to because he passed away. His name was G-Cat. I don't know if that is his real name. I believe was Garfield. Right. And I remember we were fighting in the neighborhood. You know, the neighborhood kids fight. And he stopped the fight and he's like, 2 things. You guys want to come mush up my business? And we didn't know what we were talking about, but he was a drug dealer, right? Because he's saying you're going to make the block hot, bringing the police. And then he pulled us aside and he said, you guys are better than this. You guys shouldn't fight each other. You guys live in the same neighborhood. And let me tell you guys something. Just because you guys see me out here every day, I don't want the same thing for you guys. Nobody told me this. And I'm going to tell you guys this. Go to school, get a better life, and get off the block. Once you leave the block, you'll see there's life out there. He says everybody on the block from when I was growing up is still on the block.
Wow.
Right?
Powerful.
Exactly. And if you're not from there, you wouldn't understand. And when I go back to like sometimes visit, I still see mans on the block in the same spot. And I'm just like, you guys, they're not moving, they're not grooving. But then you know what it turns to? You got rich and switch.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted better for myself. Right?
Just maybe never were able to do so. Right?
If you're not growing, you're stagnant.
Okay.
That's a good story.
So for both of you guys now, right? Fathers in the room. What are some important values that you think is important to pass down, either from father to son, father to daughter, whatever the case is? Just if you had to shorten it, 2 to 3 things, important values.
First of all, never hit a woman, no matter how mad you are. Never hit a woman, grab her around her neck, nothing. And you, yes, they get emotional. Sometimes they come at you heated. Walk away, but try as much. He said the hard conversations are the tough ones, and that's what you have to. If you know you're gonna not settle down with her, don't waste your time. You know what I mean? It's hard because
Bars.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as you go, as much as it might be hard for her, if you know you're not gonna be that person with her, and then if she sees that you're not making the effort, because I would try to break up with girls, and they would they wouldn't want to go anywhere. I would do the work. I would like stand them up and just do everything to make them dump me, but they would never dump me. Right, but I should have been the one to say this is not working. Cry it off and go. Instead, I let it drag out and then fight with them all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, it's
Put a ring on.
like yeah, I just always, my daughter's young, so I don't know, it's more so just, having fun with her right now. But my son's getting older and he's hearing and he's seeing things. All right. So one thing that stood out to me the other day was when the kids told him he can't do something. It bothered him. And I told him, I said, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. I said, because from what I'm seeing from him playing sports and from his books and everything, like the kid, he has it all, right? It's just, you got to build them up because they need guidance, believe it or not. If you're not being guided right, you're going to stare off. You might end up stealing some cars or something. You know what I mean?
And another thing is too, and to that point, when Tashawn was like 12, 11, 12, I got him a job Canadian Tire, getting the carts and this and that. You got to make them earn a little bit of their money. You can't just give it to them. Because you'll appreciate the money more. When you got that paycheck, your face lit up. And I'm like, yo, T, let me a $5. No, not letting you nothing. Like, he ain't giving no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he earned it. Once you just keep giving them, no good.
Those are gems. Integrity, that's a big one. Showing up as you, not hiding who you really are, saying what you really mean, and telling the truth and being honest, like what he's saying. And then I like what Terrell's saying about language, how important the language we use. Our barber says spelling, words are spelled a certain way. Think of them as spells. You say you can't do something, then you won't be able to do it. Right? So it's like language we use, like, oh, shoot, I'm so broke, or my day's so hard. You start focusing on the things you say and the thoughts you have. Like your thoughts become your actions become your reality becomes your destiny. It's like it all starts with the words you use. So it's like those gems are big. And then the value of money, teaching your kids the value of money. I have one friend who I grew up with. He grew up rich, right? And as he went into his 20s, he didn't understand the value of money. And I think it worked against him because he didn't understand the value of it. He didn't understand the value of hard work. Even though he grew up around money, he didn't understand what it meant.
It comes back to what Cedric says, right? Because he never earned anything. It was always given to him, right? So Now it's not being given to him. He doesn't know what to do. Right? So that comes back to that.
Yeah, these are gems though. 100%. I hear it.
Now let's talk about it. Let's get into this game.
Talk about it.
We're gonna have it's a game that your son created here. Tashawn created.
I thought we played 2-on-2. It's around gonna kick.
Yeah, they wouldn't want that right now.
Please, guys.
You guys are washed, man.
Behave, man. Behave. So we got 3 levels of cards. Tashawn, again, if it's your first time watching or tuning in, explain.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. It's really a game focused on men having conversations we don't normally have. So the idea is that, sometimes we sit around, talk about sports, women, foolishness. But the idea of the game is that you pull a card, you choose who you ask the question to, and they have to answer the question. And you get one follow-up question. If you don't feel like they elaborated, you can ask one follow-up. But again, the idea is to just have a conversation. And we can keep it short because we're near the end, but one follow-up question. So I'll pick first. I'll pick from the black deck. So the black deck is the deepest one. Blue is kind of mid, and white is kind of lighter, get to know you.
Why you gotta go so deep?
Because we went. Should we go
conversation? I mean, we can have just our guests choose if you want.
Yeah, you want to choose?
You can have Terrell and Cedric. You guys choose a card each, and then we go from there. You guys can choose who goes first, and then we can have the room answer.
What Cedric? What do you want? You want me to go first, or you want?
Let me go first.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever wore a strap on? I'm just.
I'm about to say,
I'm just saying.
It's the wrong podcast.
I'm always in the wrong podcast. Yo, stop looking at me while you're asking those questions.
Okay.
I would ask.
We can ask the room, but
you can ask the room. Or you can ask
let's ask everybody.
Okay.
Let's start with you.
Okay.
What's a surprising pleasure that you have?
Surprising pleasure.
Ta-da!
Damn.
You just show up at girl's house, climbing the window.
Nah,
Surprise!
Surprising pleasure.
Not a guilty pleasure. A surprising pleasure.
You know what? As masculine as it's about to sound, fixing things. I find myself now even just oddly going into, like, say you go to Canadian Tire for, like, you go in there for like an appliance or whatever the case is. I find myself, I don't know how, but wandering over to the tool section, for example, and just like, yo, I don't have this. Let me add this to the toolbox. Okay. You know what I mean? Or I found myself even just the purchasing of a toolbox to put my tools in. It's like, who am I? So now I have a toolbox in my car. Wherever I go, I know how to fix little things. Obviously, I'm not no big.
So are you like white people? Do you name your screwdrivers? Philip,
nah.
Philip, Robertson, Phillips.
But that's another pleasure.
Flat point.
That's another thing. I actually made it my duty to learn the different things. So I remember my dad used to be like,
pass the flat point.
I'd be like, the what? And I'd have to figure that out. But now I've made it a point to know these things. Or even when it comes to oddly Lego, I like Lego again. Just being from a child, just learning building and taking the time to
see how like my little, I'm 5-year-old, like the stuff he builds, like I would just make a wall, like
I'm saying, like
a brick wall, like
so,
Donald Trump wall, like.
Yeah, that's a pleasure for me. Pause.
He doesn't know how to use a tool. He can't even put a ratchet on a ratchet.
We've been through that.
It's not my forte.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay. What's a surprising pleasure that you have?
For me, I like to be held.
Don't laugh about it, man. If you like to be held,
I like to be held.
Say, hold me.
I like that.
Tell them hold me.
Yeah, like, but not by you guys, but I like being held, and I like. No, I'm just saying. I have to clarify.
I believe
not by anybody.
Yeah,
but I like to be hugged, held, and like my head rub too. I like that. I can fall asleep with a nice head rub.
Nice, like what's the word? He likes sensuality.
Yeah, like touch is like one of my love languages. So
so a hug really does it for you right now. Like something that you've.
Even if I hugged you guys, like
a real hug
feels like a release.
It feels.
Bro, you don't have to make
I wouldn't take it that far. It doesn't feel like a release.
Bro, a hug feels nice sometimes.
It's like, better.
You just like, yeah, like you feel like you can relax.
I don't mind hugging my brethren. Like it's not like
I'm gonna dap you up. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a dap up. We can bring it in a little closer, but I'm not.
It's not a hug like that. No, it's
no. Why you lying, bro?
No,
you hugged me before.
When?
Huh?
All
right.
No, it's like a this with the hug.
Like you bring it in and do like a little tap.
Yeah.
Let's show the camera. Like,
yeah.
We were supposed to do it, but like don't do it.
Okay, T. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna test you right now. Show them how we greet other in Montreal.
No.
No, with the double cheek kiss?
Yes, guys do it too.
No, I don't.
But that's what they do. They go in for double.
I was about to say, I don't know. So
You've seen it.
I'm not
Yeah,
Montrealian. So I'm not Montrealian. What's that? You guys say that? I'm not a Quebecois.
Montrealer?
Yeah.
So here's the thing: when I moved back to Montreal, and after COVID, you become a bit of a germaphobe.
Yeah, of course.
When a man's coming in for a double kiss, it's really like Neo from the Matrix. I'm like,
yeah, relax, relax, big man.
And the further you go in France, the more kisses it gets. I just realized that I heard it's like 4 kisses down in the southern part of France. That's too much.
Yeah,
too much happening.
It's a lot.
You ready? You ready? What's yours, Terrell? What's a surprising pleasure that you have?
Mine's nothing crazy. It's actually really shocking though. No, I'm not into the hugging business, but if we're gonna hug like how me and Tashawn just dapped up and that's about it.
Nah, you hugged me before, bro.
I don't remember that, bro. I don't remember that.
But
if I did,
thank you, bro. It helped.
You feel better?
I did.
All right. I would say, believe it or not, like drinking wine. Yeah, because it like just sitting back, feeling a little bougie.
Red or white?
Doesn't matter. I said drinking wine.
Like red gives me a headache.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
If I drink red, I'm sipping it.
Mm-hmm.
If I drink white, it might get chugged.
Yeah.
And then the rosé is like, woof, just over the top. But believe it or not, I never thought I would like wine as much as I do.
Hold on, in the glass, in the wine glass too, or in a cup?
The whole.
You know how to do all that? You're a wine tour guy too.
I don't even know if I'm doing it right. I don't even know what I'm doing.
You gotta go Niagara Falls to the wine test.
Whenever you guys are, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm doing it.
As a date idea to Terrell's lady, to his wife. Wine tour.
Probably I was just like him all those days. But when you get older to 50,
there's
too much sugar. The sweet just gives you a headache.
It does sometimes, but as I sip it, I take my time. Mm-hmm. I don't rush.
Surprising pleasure to yourself.
It's a surprising pleasure I have. I like tea. I like when a girl big spoons me. Like the wife. I like that. You know what it is? I came here with just me and my mom, and we used to sleep. And we slept in the bed till we're 7. She'd always be over. And
so the love.
That's the most comforting thing for me.
So the love.
Fall asleep like this. Like I don't know when you sleep. When you sleep beside your partner, first time you start cuddling, and then after like get too uncomfortable, then you start flipping and flipping. But I like being
embrace that.
My partner is on me from behind. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Well, mine is a real one. So just put your card down. Yeah. This one's for the room. This is a good one. You guys might bring your emotions out. But what is the last thing you cried over? Any one of you guys could start. Anyone, and if you guys don't, I'll pick. You know what? You guys taking too long. I'm going with Steph.
You got married?
No.
I thought.
Last thing I cried over. Shit, I almost teared up just now. When you talking about your homie. That sounds like a traumatic experience to go through. But last thing I actually cried over.
Oh, you're not crying at that.
Damn.
This is
maybe that. What is? Yeah, I mean,
we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you, Cedric.
I would just say, I think it was in February. I was going through a little bit of a depression. Tashawn came in. He said, "Listen, fix change. What can you do to change to make yourself better and get out of your situation? Do what you got to do." And I was crying over that. Remember when he came, met me in Hamilton? Remember, he talked to me on the phone and said, "Dad, I'm coming over, and we have to, you just distance yourself." And I put a video out there, and I was just bawling on the video. I just wasn't, and I just realized at the time I was coming out of a relationship. My mom had dementia. I knew I had to move back to Montreal. My license, I owed money on child support. Like just everything just came at me at once.
Like all walls coming.
I felt I was like one pullover away from just ruining my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real.
Thank you for sharing that. Me, I would say probably like maybe a month ago, maybe a month or two ago. It was just what did you say? The food? No. The Fresh Prince dad scene always gets me. So I had a little cry over that, but
was something you watched recently?
Yeah.
Wow.
It gets me. But it wasn't that.
Sends it to me, I send it back to him.
That one makes me cry. The Fresh Prince dad scene.
Says, why don't want me?
Will's dad leaving. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That one gets me every time. But I want to say like 2 months ago, I was just feeling unhappy. And I just felt the need to cry. Like where I was just like, I need to just cry this out. That was the feeling I had because I couldn't understand the source of my unhappiness. But I was like, yo, I'm healthy. I'm, I have money. I have a place to live. I can travel. I have a job. Like I have all the things I need. Why do I feel unhappy? And I think just not being able to understand that made me cry. And I just needed to get that energy out and then start to figure out, how do I reframe this? How can I look at the things that I'm actually grateful for and turn this pain into something to guide me on my journey to feeling happy or fulfilled, like a purpose.
What do you call those healthy tears?
Yeah, it was one of those, you just have to get it out.
You didn't go, but where you at?
Nah, you said you come back to me, so I'm thinking.
Oh, so you want me to go? There was 2 things that made me cry.
Wedding? Wedding?
So there was 2 things that made me cry. All right. I was laying on the couch, I was taking a nap, and my son and my daughter came up to me and they was like, "Daddy, we love you." But out of nowhere, like, and my eyes just got watery, but wipe it up, 'cause I love y'all too, right?
Feeling, huh?
Great feeling, believe it or not, right? Like, I never thought, I knew one day I would be a father, but like when you actually see it, it's a whole different thing. And then the second thing was, so I just bought a house, and buying the house, it was a stressful time. Like, when I mean stressful, like so stressful. I never been that stressed in my life. And I'm just going through everything all at once. Like you said, everything just came crashing down. Some good news, some bad news, and I don't like to cry,
Right.
but nobody knows this. I went in the shower and I was just thought, like, water coming out of your face. You don't know what it is.
Why is that always that space?
That's my space. I don't care what it is. That's
my space too, for real.
You know what I'm saying? And something just said, just let it go. And so I don't even know if it was, I'm going to say this out there right now. I don't even know if it was the water, if it was crying, but I knew my chest was, I knew
That was emotional.
It's not even emotional. It's more so like everything came crashing down. And
still
like
emotions.
And I don't like to put my problems on anybody else.
I hate it.
I don't like to really talk about it. I bottle it up sometimes, and right. So when that water hit my face, everything just came coming down, and I was like, yeah, I'm good now. Like, and like you just said to Tashawn, you just let it out, and now it's like, what am I gonna do? I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Right. So those are my times.
Nice.
For myself,
still haven't cried,
No, honestly,
it's like a big pool.
It's just recent. I can't say it's recent, and like you said, it might just be an unhealthy thing where I don't, because a good cry is definitely something that makes you feel better on the other side of it. But obviously amongst men, it's not. It's just a touchy subject to talk about. I guess
it's not a regular thing, or with everything we talk about at least.
So if I actually had to pinpoint a time, I don't know which one came first, but I do remember a time in the shower, because I feel like that's one place I will get it out. But even just going back to maybe a discussion we had, I don't know how long ago that was though.
Within the year, probably.
Definitely within the year. I just don't know when that was. But pulled up to Tashawn's house. It had to be not too long after New Year's though.
It was in the early years, stages this year.
You guys cried together?
I was balling. I'll tell you that.
Do you know why though?
Oh, I definitely know why. I lost my grandmother last year. 2020, I might cry now. Shit. 2023 was a rocky year. So, again, troubles, everything that I went through, and it's just something that mentally you deal with. Still, clearly, something that I haven't. But just in dealing with everything, like you said, stresses and everything, you don't really have a release sometimes, or you think you don't. That's probably the better idea. Generous enough of Tashawn to just check in, ask how I was doing, a wreck, a breakup. It's a lot of things that I was going through, just challenging myself in my mind, how to level up in business, a lot of these things, getting older, 32 now, so just different things that you're dealing with. And yeah, bro, it's just, I think what all summarized all that together was losing my grandmother, and then realizing that you don't have a lot of time, right? Life's short. So a lot of the things that I realized I was putting pressure on for myself, you realize in times when you lose people that those things that you thought were pressures, they don't really matter, So when you lose people, and that's okay. So I ask you guys, do you ever feel like you have the stronger connection with people that you didn't have the best relationship with?
I think each situation is obviously different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I get it, because sometimes people you think you're close with, you don't want to tell anything look bad in their eyes, where somebody you don't really care about. You could have the biggest talks with them because they won't judge you. Won't feel like they'll judge you.
So for me, it's like, for example, my grandma, we kind of